video, I'm going to be showing you how to do a search term review. We do these twice a week for any account. So in order to get started, you're going to be inside Google Ads, go into Insights and Reports, and go into search terms. One thing to keep in mind is you need to do this by campaign. Certain campaigns will not have search terms. For example, a performance max, which looks like this, demand gen, which looks like this. The ones that you will need to review are the active search campaigns, and you will need to do this by ad group. As you get more comfortable with an account and you know what that business promotes, you can do it at the account level, and you can just review all the search terms in that account once you fully understand what they are advertising. But whenever you're starting in a new account, for at least the first month, you need to do it by ad group. So make sure you're filtering by ad group. Make sure you're only reviewing ones that are currently running and active. The way you do this is making sure campaign status is turned to enabled, ad group status is turned to enabled. So once we're in that ad group, we're going to look at every single search term within the last 7 days. Make sure this is turned to the last 7 days. Every search term that has one click or more, we need to review. And every search term, when we click up here, this is how you filter it. Every search term that has 2 impressions or more. If it's more than what's on this page, you can click to show more rows by ad group. So as we go through this, you're also going to want to add a filter. The way you add this added or excluded filter is by just searching up added, click on added or excluded, click on none, click apply. You'll be good to go. Rolling through this, we're looking for search terms that do not line up with the keywords over here or with the product or service that this company is trying to advertise in this specific ad group. And we are looking for competitors that we need to exclude as well, because we do not want to show up for competitor keywords unless it is an ad group specifically dedicated to going after competitor keywords. Then obviously in that case, we need to not exclude competitors from our traffic. So in order to review the search terms, you've got this filtered. You're going to essentially be scrolling down here, and you're going to be looking for search terms that don't line up with what they provide, or the intent is people looking for something that doesn't line up with the services that they sell. This is a more tricky account because a lot of times you'll get people who are looking for referral programs, but those are people actually looking for referral links that they can put on their YouTube channel or something like that in order to make money, whereas we are actually promoting a software for business owners where they can get their customers to refer them. So this one's a little bit trickier. We'll go into some other accounts so you can get some other examples. So scrolling through here, we're just looking for ones that don't necessarily line up. Referral program case study. This is one that it's kind of 50-50. These are more people doing just research. It could be excluded, but we're going to leave it. You'd rather be safe than sorry. So if you have any questions about it, reach out to your account manager. Let them know you had a question about a certain keyword, and that way you can talk about it. But don't exclude it if you're not certain. And so most of these are looking pretty solid. We're going to filter by clicks now. And looking at these are all decent except for this one. So Square, that is a different business. And so this is obviously somebody who's looking for Square specific referral program. And so we obviously do not want to show up for that search term anymore. So the way we exclude it, and you can do this in bulk by selecting multiple, but we just have this one right now. We're going to click add as negative keyword. You're going to leave it as at the ad group level. Then you will click save. Then you'll do this one more time. You'll come up here, and now we're going to find the root word that is causing the issue. So in this case, Square is the issue because it's a competitor or it's another business that people are looking for that isn't relevant to ours. Sometimes it's okay to show up for businesses that are relevant to us. So for example, if somebody's looking for a CRM that hooks up with Shopify, it's okay to show up for that because if you're running ads for a CRM company. It's okay to show up for that for somebody looking up a CRM for Shopify if your CRM provides that. So don't use that as a hard set rule. Use common sense with that, and obviously reach out to your account manager if you have questions about that. So once we have it phrase matched, the way you make it phrase match is just adding quotation marks. You're going to go ahead and click save, and you're good to go there. We're going to do a couple other examples on some other accounts. One other campaign type that you will deal with is a shopping campaign. This is very similar to search in the search term section. You just will typically see a lot more data. And this is just one thing to keep in mind is that these are also ones with search terms that you will need to review, but we're just going to do an example here. So when we are looking through these, obviously we need to make sure that we look through them all by clicks and by impressions. Make sure that we go ahead and add this filter, added or excluded, check none. We're good for the last 7 days. We need to make sure we are in an ad group. All right, this ad group is going after people who are looking for clear retainers. And so we are basically just going to roll through these. I like to scroll to the bottom. And in this example, I'm not going to go through all of these, but in what I would typically do is scroll all the way to the bottom until we see the ones. And then we're going to start right here and work all the way up. And so I'm just going to essentially walk through this. And so one thing right off the bat, people looking for instructions, those are not people looking to buy. They have clearly already bought the retainer. They need to know how to use it. So instructions is something that we would obviously want to remove. I'm gonna keep going through here, and I may miss a couple. I just want to get the main point across of like what the type of things we are that we are excluding. A lot of times we will exclude questions like can you or how to. How to is a big example of like people looking up how to do it on their own. That is something that we would exclude a lot of the time. In this case, these are people that probably are still looking to buy. They're probably in the market for it. So we're actually going to leave those in there. Keep on going through it. And the more and more you do these in accounts, a lot of times your keywords will get more better and better. And so there won't be as many things to exclude. So that's something that we're kind of dealing with here is that clearly we already have found most of them. So here's another one, Spark retainers. This is clearly this is most likely a competitor. We'll look it up real quick just because we're not 100% certain. So scroll down. Spark clear aligners is the first thing that pops up. It's not an ad, and you can see that there's a company named Spark, so that's somebody looking specifically for Spark retainers. That's something we're going to want to exclude. So now that we've found all of them, supposedly, we're going to go ahead and click add as negative keyword at ad group level. We're going to click save. Then we're going to click add as negative keyword. We're then going to find the root words that are the issue. If you can't find a root word that is the issue, just leave it as exact match. So, for example, if for some reason instructions fell into one of the search terms, or sorry, one of the keywords that I actually am trying to promote my ads to, and it could potentially overlap and prevent my ad from being shown to people that are actually interested in my services, you do not want to exclude it. So be very careful when you are changing things to phrase match that you are only you putting words in there that are not relevant. For example, clearretain.com, I would not want to do this, even though this is a competitor. I would not want to add this as a phrase match keyword because this could be misconstrued as somebody looking for clear retainer. And so this would absolutely tank the account. This is why you need to be very careful when you're excluding keywords and making them phrase match. It's okay to exclude most things as an exact match because it won't overlap with a lot, but phrase match will. This will absolutely tank an account. Do not do something along those lines. Always, if you have any questions, leave it as exact match and just click save because you're confident about Spark. That's not going to overlap with anything. But in this case, we definitely want to exclude instructions. So we're going to make it phrase match and click save. In this account, we do have a competitor competitor campaign that is currently running. So we're going to want to go to Sunsetter. So since these are running specifically to steal clients from competitors, you do not want to exclude the search terms that include the competitors, obviously, because as you see here in this keyword, these are the people that we are trying to go after. So for the most part, you will leave these alone. You'll need to go through and make sure you're not showing up for anything that just doesn't make sense, obviously. But as we can see here, just really quick off the bat, everything looks good. It's people looking for sunsetter awnings. So all these are fine. Even though we have Costco here, it still shows sunsetter awnings. So that's somebody in the market looking at a current competitor. And so you would just need to go through each one of these ad groups one by one to look and see if there are any keywords similar to how you look through any other ad group to see if there are any keywords that don't line up with what you were going after. Um, the awning factory. So we're looking to go after people who are looking for sunshades. That's a competitor in this case. So this is one where it could be 50-50. You should just bring this up to your account manager. Hey, in the competitor ad group, we're showing up for more than just one competitor. It's definitely something worth mentioning. And so we'd be going through. So, for example, if lanai shades aren't something that they provide, this is something we may want to exclude because it's not necessarily a competitor, but it is just an incorrect search term. So this is something we would just come in, click exclude, click negative keywords. I'm not saying this is the case for this account, but if it was, we would come in and do the same process, add to the ad group, save it, do it again, add the phrase match. We're going to go back out to one more campaign. Oh, one more that we can actually look at is brand campaign. So this is one where it's totally fine to show up for, in this case, Central Florida awnings, because that's what we are trying to target. And so it's always just a good gut check to check the keywords over here to see if it lines up. If the search term doesn't really line up with what the keyword's trying to promote, you're probably more than likely needing to exclude it. If you do see your own brand pop up in other campaigns, it's okay to exclude it in that specific ad group as an exact match. So we're going to go to one more campaign and then just kind of rolling through these real quick, just looking for things that don't necessarily make sense for what we are trying to promote. And I apologize, this is a little bit slow. Hopefully, watch it at 2 times speed. So one thing right off the bat that I see here is that this is somebody looking for SPF screens. So this is probably someone looking for a competitor called SPF. Another thing that's a very obvious tell that it's competitors, they're looking for reviews. And so actually reviews would be the keyword here that we're wanting to remove because we don't want to show up for reviews ever because that's people looking for a specific company. They're just looking to get information on that company. So we don't need to be advertising to those people. Right here, we've got a competitor, and this is not a competitor ad group, so obviously we would want to exclude something like this. Same thing, we got Patriots on it. We've got a couple of these down here that we would consider excluding. Got another one. Well, no, that's actually, that one's totally fine. Davis on shade structure, we'd want to exclude Davis. Sam's awnings, a lot of the names, like when it's somebody else's name, that's very clearly something that you can exclude as phrase match. And yeah, that's a good overview of how to review the search terms in search campaigns. We're going to look at one other way that we exclude search terms, which is for performance max campaigns. Performance max campaigns, like I mentioned, look like this. The way you're going to do that is go to insights, and you're going to follow basically the exact same process. It's just set up a little bit different. You're still looking for the same types of search terms. There's just a little bit less precise data inside performance max campaigns. If this ever loads in, perfect. You're going to scroll down to the section that looks like this, the search term insight section, and you're just going to be looking for search categories that don't line up with exactly what you're trying to target. In Performance Max, it's actually okay to show up for competitors because this is more a broader campaign. We're trying to show up in front of a lot. So this, in this case, is okay to show up for competitors. We do not want to be showing up for our own brand name because Performance Max will take advantage of that and show way too many ads to our own brand name. So if you see your own brand name in here, it definitely needs to be excluded. Excluded as a phrase match unless the keyword specifically lines up with a service that you provide. So for example, Central Florida Awnings, we would not want to exclude Central Florida Awnings as a phrase match because it has the word awnings in it, which is what they sell. So you would just want to exclude Central Florida Awnings as an exact match negative keyword. And if you kept seeing different versions of Florida Awnings, Central Florida Awnings show up, you would just continue to exclude those as exact match. So Central Florida Awnings prices, you can exclude Central Florida Awnings prices as exact match. So we're obviously selling awnings. We are not selling garage screen doors. So this is something that we would exclude. You're just going to copy, come down to keywords, click on negative keywords, click plus, paste it in, and then you're going to add brackets around it to make it exact match. And then to make it phrase match, you just add quotation marks. So screen door, that is probably the main issue that we're wanting to exclude. And that's one thing to keep in mind is you can phrase match phrases that aren't relevant. So for example, another one would be like people looking for how to build a awning. Excluding how to build is something that could be excluded as opposed to just excluding how, because somebody could be looking up how much is an awning. That is not, you do not want to exclude how in that case, because that would remove some people that can look up those specific that specific search phrase. So be very careful, kind of do a mental check in your head of like, is there any other way somebody could use this word in a search for my product before changing it to a phrase match. And obviously, these questions, reach out to your account manager so that way you can talk through it. All you have to do is click save, and it will go ahead and save it through, and you'll just do the exact same process. For all of the search themes. So in PMAX, you want to go through all of the search themes because there's typically a lot less. So there's only 57 here. So you're actually going to go through all of these and obviously make sure it's just in the last 7 days. One additional note, especially when you're new to an account, if you're trying to figure out what type of search term should be excluded, provided this has been managed by someone who is competent. If you're taking this account over and it's new, and it has not been managed by someone you are confident in their abilities, you obviously should not do anything that they used to do in the past. But if your current account manager has managed for a bid and has handed it off to you, then it is something that is worth doing is checking over the keywords in any specific campaign. Also, make sure that you're always in an ad group, specifically when you're reviewing search keywords. That's something that you'll sometimes forget because certain ad groups promote different things, so they need different negative keywords. But what you can actually do is you can look at the negative keywords specifically for that ad group, so you can see, okay, these are the things that have been excluded in the past. These are the things I should be looking for. These are things that shouldn't show up again in this specific ad. So you can get a general idea of what type of negative keywords should go into that ad group. Obviously, it's not a comprehensive list. You're adding to that. But if you do have a question about it, it's worth looking in their negative keywords to see if something like that has been in there before. And also always reference the keyword that they're promoting and the service or product that they're promoting, and ask yourself if excluding that would prevent a prevent someone who is looking to buy relatively soon. We're typically doing these negative keywords for high intent campaigns. If they're looking to buy relatively soon, if your negative keyword would prevent that. Don't let that scare you off from adding negative keywords. Obviously, if you have questions, you ask your account manager. And also, if the campaign is more based around not necessarily high intent, not trying to drive those people who are ready to buy right now, then you have to kind of approach it a little bit differently because your ads are showing to people who may be in the investigative stage of the buying funnel and not ready to buy right now. And so different negative keywords may be necessary, but as a rule of thumb, you're typically in search campaigns going after high intent users, people looking to buy immediately. So keep that in mind when setting up negative keywords. Hope this video helps. Feel free to reach out if you have any questions.